Hey Flow Racing, it is Courtney Enders here, and we've got another episode, probably one of the ones I've been looking forward to most, of the Road to Bradenton series, where we get to know the drivers of the Pro Superstar Shootout. We've got one of my longest buddies in drag racing here, Steve Torrence, the driver of the Capco Boys fueled Capco Contractors Capco Dragster. Did I say all that right?
I think so. We're going to go with it.
We're going to go with it. What's this one's name?
Tito.
Perfect. Tito. Is it a
Boy.
Hi, Tito? I might not know how to steer this old horsepower.
Just choke up a little bit and go left or right.
Okay.
You're not really controlling their mouth. They feel the tension on the neck.
Okay.
Like they just feel that thing right there laying on their neck, so they move.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
Uh-uh.
He's just doing cowboy shit with his cowboy friends. We've kind of gotten to know a lot of the drivers, who they are outside of the race car. As I've said, the eyes behind the helmet. I want to get to know you guys, but you're a very complex man and you've got a lot of shit going on in your life. What I want to hone in on is the history of kind of how Steve Torrence, the race car driver, got to be where he is sitting in that dragster.
Grew up racing dirt bikes from the time I was 5 till about 16, 17. As we were talking about, I never raced juniors. I went from 2 wheels to a super comp dragster when I was 15. It was just natural progression. My dad raced super comp. We were sportsman racers. And so going all over the country doing that, it was just, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a drag racer. And I always aspired to drive a top fuel car. I mean, that's the pinnacle of our sport. That's the quickest, the fastest. There's nothing more exciting and raw power than a fuel car. Really blessed, given some great opportunities for some people to go drive an alcohol dragster, won a championship, raced a fuel car at a limited schedule for a couple years, and then full time. And then we decided to start Torrence Racing in 2011. The rest is kind of history.
Why a top fuel dragster? There's a gazillion things you can do inside drag racing. Why did you never falter from that?
It was always about the quickest and the fastest. It's the most exhilarating, and to me, it's just driving the car. I mean, I could get out at the end and get back in the tow vehicle and never take my helmet off and never do an interview. It's driving the race car and the excitement of competition. I like to win at whatever we're doing. If we're rolling dice or if we're racing wheelbarrows, I want to win.
Do you consider yourself a gearhead?
I consider myself less of a gearhead and more of a driver or rider. My dad's a gearhead, way into the mechanics of it, way into how it works, make it faster, make it quicker. Me, drive it the best that I can, be perfect, make 0 mistakes, and take the tool that they've given me and win.
Drag racing as a whole, I feel, is in a decent state. Give me your opinion on state of the union, if you will, drag racing.
I would say it's in a decent place. There's kind of a changing of the guard with our fans and our drivers and our participants and everything, where this is a 1950s sport. This originated on the streets where the guys are out there racing the street cars. And it's so much more sophisticated than that, but a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people don't realize that we win and lose by 10,000ths of a second. The science, the data, in what we do is so much more sophisticated. People don't know that they're 11,000 horsepower. They don't know that it takes less than 3.7 seconds to go 330 miles an hour and what that does to your body. I mean, yeah, there's old guys that do this. There's fat guys that do this. There's short guys that do this, but
there's petite gals that do it.
There's petite gals that do it. We're all athletes in our own aspect because this thing is beating you to death. It is doing everything it possibly can to throw you out the back and then out the front when you slow down. If you can't tell, I get excited talking about it because I love to do it.
You said something that I love. You called drivers athletes. I think that that's a common misconception, that you don't have to be an athlete to be a race car driver. Give us a little insight of what that does to your body and how you train, if you will, to be able to endure that.
From a driver's standpoint, you can't do anything to make the car faster. You can only make the car slower in everything that you do. If you drive it too much, if you're late on the tree, if you stay with it too long before it spins the tires or while it's spinning the tires, all you can do is slow it down. I think like any athlete, any baseball player, soccer player, you are so mentally in tune and focused with what you do that everything is reaction. If it's not a reaction, if it's a thought process, you're slow, you're behind, and you lose. With that being said, we talked about this earlier. The worst enemy that you have in that race car lies between your ears. I've won 4 championships in Top Fuel. I won a championship in Alcohol Dragster. And I still go to the starting line and doubt myself. It's not about how good you were, it's how good you are. And that's what makes you go up there on edge every time. When you're able to mentally overcome that, that's what makes you a champion. But it's still so difficult to stay at that level, to stay at the pinnacle for so long. And it's extremely difficult, and I battle with it consistently throughout the season, throughout the countdown, throughout the final day. But you have to be able to do it. And that's the most conditioning that we face as an athlete, is the mindset.
Talking about you as an athlete here, your team. This is often viewed as a solo sport. The team, not only the car, but the guys, not what they do, how they touch your car, what they physically do to that thing. The Capco boys are a different kind of team. Y'all changed the game of this being a team sport. Was that organic? Was it intentional? How did that even come about?
What I've watched my dad do over the last 30 years at this business is build a team. It's not a team of all-stars alone. It's a team of all-stars together. And you take that band of misfits and you put them together, and they're bad to the bone. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Tombstone, but when all those cowboys walk around the end of the street down there with their trench coats and their guns out and ready to go, that's what I feel like when we come around the tower into the water box, and I've got every one of those bad to the bone Capco boys pushing me to the start line. They're taking their brother and putting him in a rocket and saying, hey, we got your back.
Peace.
Go win. It took a couple years to get. It took a couple years to build, but we've had the same group of guys since 2013. Look at any professional sports team that have had that continuity, and typically when you find that, you have success.
I truly, truly mean it. The Capco boys completely changed the game of it, and as a member of another team, it inspires, I think, people, because like you said, the success that y'all have together is so natural and so organic. I think the Capco boys kind of followed your lead. You are one of the most insane people I've ever met, in a good way. Just the character that you have, the confidence that you carry, the adaptability that you have to be able to go from Capco guys sitting here at a desk telling people what to do, to doing scooters with fire flames coming out of the back of them, to blowing that horn, to being a cowboy, to riding a bull, all the things. But why is it so important for you to be so authentic and not lose that while you're Steve Torrence, the Top Fuel pilot?
Everybody knows I've been through quite a few health problems in my life, and I think going through those develops a character in you early in life that doesn't leave you, and some people never experience it, some people do. But when you experience your own mortality
Multiple times,
it changes the way you look at things. It changes your aggression for life, what you strive to do. We're not promised tomorrow, much less the next minute. If you're content and complacent, I don't think you're not using the opportunity you're given to do the best. I have been faulted for my attitude and the way that I've handled some high stress, high emotion moments, but that is me. To a fault, I'm competitive. But you may not have that opportunity ever again, and you work extremely hard to get there. If you don't have that drive to always achieve more, then you're just settling. My parents have always instilled in me to be the best. That's how Capco is. That's how Torrence Racing is. That's how Torrence Land and Cattle is. The things that I do, I want to be the best at.
You led me perfectly into the next hat that you wear is family man, Steve Torrence. I've known you since we were running around getting in trouble at the racetrack and couldn't even see it, but watching the man that you've evolved into, the husband, the dad, even the son of helping your dad take over this business while he goes and chases a dream you've been chasing for all this time. Has that changed you as the athlete we just spoke about?
I don't think it has changed me as an athlete. I don't think it has changed me as a race car driver. It hasn't taken away any of my drive or want to or desire to win, but it has given me something that is more important than that. My wife, my little girl, my mom and dad, and the opportunity that I get to spend the time that I'm doing what I love to do with them. Internally, I'm not any less intense. Maybe externally I am. But when I get out of that car, if I won, she loves me. If I didn't, she loves me. It kind of puts things into perspective of what's really important and what's more for pleasure.
I want to talk about the cattle side, the cowboy side of Steve Torrence. I don't think people know. Aesthetically, they can guess. But who is Cowboy Steve Torrence?
It's something that is really hard work. I enjoy to do it. My dad thinks I'm dumb. He said, son, they have those things at the grocery store already wrapped in plastic. You don't have to raise cows. You can buy them cut up already. It's a culture. It's a lifestyle of simplicity. There's nothing more relaxing than getting on a horse and going out and being one. It's gratifying. I don't have as much time to do that as what I want to, so I got a guy that helps take care of all that for me and does the vast majority of it. But it is fun to go catch a cow, doctor a cow, I guess play cowboy for a day. It's not something I grew up doing. I had cowboy buddies, but I drove race cars. We didn't go to the National Finals Rodeo. We went to the World Finals in Pomona. Later in life, I had the opportunity to do that. I raise replacement Brahman cattle. I have a good time doing it. Sometimes you're covered in a little cow shit and got some chaps on and you're out there having a good time, or it could be 7 degrees and you're out there busting ice on the ponds with the tractor. That's the less glorious part of it, but it's something I enjoy doing.
How I want to wrap this up before we go, we're going to do a little cowboy and me and you today here.
Yep.
We're going to walk through here, see what it's like to be day to day, but compare that top fuel dragster and that bull.
I have the idea that I can control the dragster. I had the idea that I could not control the bull. At least I think that I can drive the top fuel car. I know I can't ride the bull. And I got a bunch of bull riding buddies, and my hat's off to them. I'll let them come out to the racetrack and think I'm stupid for driving that car because I think they're a little loose screw for riding that bull.
Hey, we got Flo Rodeo. Yeah, Flo Racing.
I'd rather watch it on flow than I would from the back of the bull.
Is it like a race car where you got to get it on one side?
You got it.
I do. Listen, I'm no cowgirl, but I am from Texas.
We can bring them individually back over and run them through and we can work them. I'm Steve Torrence, and this is the Pro Superstar Shootout on FloDragRacing.